she went on. Hello.
Hi.
I'm trying to see, but I don't see it. Okay.
You see it?
Yep. All right.
You got your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. We're on. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Great evening. Great evening.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Open Discussions. We're having real conversations with real people. Thank you for joining us on tonight. I am Audrika.
And I'm Janet.
And once again, welcome to Open Discussions. So tonight, we're talking about domestic violence. Thank you all for your prayers, your tokens, and all the feelings of just, keeping us uplifted in the good spirit during this COVID-19 times. We really, really appreciate that. Our sister Sonia White is not with us on tonight. Keep her uplifted in prayers. It is very much a time for us to be supportive and to be encouraged.
Amen.
All right. So we're talking about domestic violence on tonight. There are several types of domestic violence, and we're just going to take a little, briefing over the topics. And Mother is going to...
I'm going to interview tonight.
She's going to interview me. Yes. And so, like we said, we're real people bringing it to the table, pulling the covers off a lot of those things that are swept up under the rug. And so we're going to get started. So within October being the Domestic Violence Awareness Month, bringing the attention of bullying, child maltreatment, that is with the community. It says from resources is where, you have the kids growing up in the neighborhood and you have that bullying behavior, right? You have physical, emotional, mental, sexual abuse, okay? And, teen dating abuse. Also with the school violence. I think that relates back to bullying, right?
Yeah,
with the school bullying.
But
bullying can happen in the community as it stated, such as, it don't always necessarily start in the school. It can even start within the family. Sometimes you have cousins that are more rougher than the other cousins, right?
Right.
And it starts out with just behavior, and this behavior turns into real, a state of mind where people like to want to have control. So, that control starts off, I think, would have a lot to do with what you say, like self-esteem. Yeah. The way the one may look at themselves, the way they carry themselves, the way they want to be treated. And if they're not, I guess, receptive as to having their way, right, then they act out in a million forms, and most of the time that turns into violent behavior.
Right. Okay, Drika. So as she stated, we're talking about domestic violence. And tonight we're going to focus on the physical, the emotional, and the sexual. And the bullying.
Yeah.
Because, our babies, even though I have grands, they're still my babies. Children, they go to school. They might can't afford what other kids are wearing. So you have kids that are bullying them, and it torments their brain. And that's why it's important for you to say, well, hey, how was your day? And they might open up to you, but parents should be the kids. Yes, you are the parent, but your kid should be able to come back and tell you anything. And in this day and time, it's not for us to get loud, but it's a way that we can handle it, because we don't want to go to. If we go to jail, then who's gonna watch after our kids?
Go to jail, mother.
Yeah, because you got some parents that be like, "What you did to my child?" And they reduce their age to that child. They forget, move out the way. So
That's true.
we have to, just question them. Hey, how was your day? You know how your child's behavior is versus another. If they come in kind of down, even if they make a bad grade, let them know it's going to be all right. Every day is not a good day, but we're going to try harder.
Right.
So back to domestic violence. Okay, Dree, can you explain to Facebook land what the type of domestic violence you went through? And if you don't mind me, the first question I'm going to ask, and you can fit it in there somewhere, is why did you not leave after the first time? Was it because were you afraid that were you afraid that you'd be by yourself? Or was it because you loved him, or because you felt that he said he wasn't going to do it anymore and you believed him?
Well, I would say my abusive relationship started off in my teen years, right? I think me being an aggressive young lady, and me, how they say if you hit a boy, they hit you back,
right.
And then they like you, or that's the kitty love, and you play, and so you get that. In my teen years, I think it started off like that.
Okay.
But what it did was it made me aggressive, right? Mm-hmm. It made me want to protect myself, but yet and still, when I got angry, I think I lashed out and hit too.
Okay.
So then, not only was I making it a way of love in the relationship, it became a way of communication, bad communication at that, I would say.
A communication where you all would hit one another?
Yeah, it's like, if I don't know, let's just say when you're young, in the teen term, it was more so like, that's your friend, but that's your boyfriend. You really don't know what you're doing, right? And so you all up in his face, and he may push you back, or he may be not responding to you, so you push on him, and then he push on you, and then next thing you know, that push turned into a hit, and then that's how it was in the teen years. That was the love life, right? But the adult years, it had a lot to do with just someone wanted to control you, right? Because you could say, hey, I know what I bring to the table, so therefore you shouldn't be able to tell me no, and I not should be able to tell you no, and we not be able to, agree to disagree, right? And then, a man, if he's more dominant and superior, in my situation, it was more so having kids and not working, and I was growing up too fast, being like the at-home mom and taking on responsibilities at a early age, and so therefore I would assume that he would feel as though I was like a child to him, and so therefore that was his form of discipline, not to whoop on me or anything like that, but it became a way of life for communication in our relationship. We both often talked about our childhood, and I would say, hey, no, I seen my mom go through some things. I lost my mom at an early age, and I'm not gonna have that. But I think you have to know the person that you're dealing with. When I was, I would say, maybe about 22, still young, dating someone 11 years my senior, and at first it was all good, and he was the nice and the yes guy, right? And then he went to going through some things personally, and then it just became a battle to get out. I felt like I was in that Jennifer Lopez movie, Enough.
Oh yeah,
because that's how it ended. Enough.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
So with that being said, upon you getting physically abused, where did it leave you? I mean, was there not an escape route that you ever in that time, even though you were young, had you not thought about, well, I can leave when he goes to work, but I really don't want to leave because I know that he can do better, because I know that I love him. Had that come across you? Or
okay, so I was in a city with no family members, just me and my children. And in this relationship, he was the breadwinner.
Right.
I wasn't allowed to leave outside the house. I was more so to the store, to the doctor's appointments, and back to the house. Anything outside of that, it was with him and the children. Leaving, yeah. I mean, I've gotten on the bus and came all the way home, traveled over 300 some miles home, and then, yet and still to have someone, track you down, find you. Sometimes when you're communicating with family, not wanting to put everybody into the situation, but trying to work it out on your own. Right. I will go back. I didn't have a sense of fear as to where I feel like he could take my life, because I honestly feel like God is the only one. He's the only author that can, bring life or death. And I just felt like I was protected. At some point, I did feel as though, you get lonely and you do think about the starting all over thing. So it makes you suppress your true feelings. Right. When wanted to talk, he was communicating. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't all bad. Right. But, we would communicate, and we would, say, hey, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. This is what I'm going to accept, and this is what I'm not going to accept. I would say it would go pretty good for about 2 weeks, and then there we were right back at the table. Right. So I think, for me, it was like a psychological thing. It was like me just running into a circle, and I had to get to the point where...
Had you ever thought about... because you have kids, so I really can't ask that question. Yeah. Had you ever thought about taking your life? Because some moms do say, I feel like I'm better off dead, because I know my kids will be taken care of. That type of person. So, but if you thought about something like that, then please share with us how emotionally draining it was, and how you came to a point when you said enough. Enough is enough. I'm not going to allow you to do this. I'm not going to allow you to do that. Did you tell him verbally? Did he stop? Or did you, when you said enough is enough, look, I just got to get my kids and we got to go?
Okay. No, it did not stop. It took a lot of fasting. It took a lot of praying. It took a lot of courage to build up in myself, because I went through small stages as to where... Okay, it was different packing your kids up and say, okay, I'm going home for the weekend. It was a difference than packing your bags up, going over to my homegirl house. Right. It became to a point we had to sit down and talk, and I was like, look, I've gotten to the point now where it's just either me or you. We lived in a life where there was like this code, we don't call the police. So we're not calling the police. It's just more so like, hey, you be the bigger person. We have to, we got to depart. Right. But when somebody tell you, hey, either I'm going to have you or nobody can have you. I thought it was cute at first. More so like, oh, he love me, he jealous. I ain't going to do nothing because, I don't want to get him get the wrong attraction from someone, and then yet... because I already know how he gonna act. Right. But we had to sit down and say, okay, if you gonna let me go, or now I'm at war with you. Right. I'm up here. It's up from here. You gonna let me go. You gonna let me live. And if you don't, you just gonna have to do what you gonna have to do, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna have to do, and that's what happened.
Wow. You see stuff like this on TV, but you also hear about stuff like this. But it's like when you see it, you see the female, she has the black eye, she has a broken arm, she's been pushed down the stairs, she's scared to leave, she'll run for refuge, but then she's so in love till she goes back. I can't speak on that because I don't know what they're praying, how they feel. You know, I can speak on it and say I wouldn't have went back, but I'm not them. I'm not in their shoes. So I can't speak on it, but I'm pretty sure you can. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, you know, every situation is different. Right. My situation was a 7-year relationship that was good at first, and then it just, you know, turned out into a bad relationship. Me personally, I feel like you can't change anyone. Right. I demand my respect, and it's more so like you either gonna respect me or walk away, or I'm gonna take me and something is gonna happen. Right. And so sometimes people they wear their options with that. Right. We all know that there's consequences to the life that you live. Yet, you know, an older woman once told me there is a cage for every bear, and it is coming up out that fear. Now, me just being me, no, I didn't feel like I can just challenge my opponent. Right. I challenged him. He was bigger than me. He was stronger than me. He had, you know, the heart to use more weapons than me, and I just wasn't willing to go to that part. But he knew who I was, and so it's just more so like if you let somebody scare you to the point where you feel like you can't start on me. I know I'm going from rags to riches, riches to rags. At the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do what's best for your kids. Amen. I'm writing a book, so therefore I don't want to spill all the goods for my bills. For those who do know me, you know, may know some of the stories or what have you, but it's nothing better than getting that water from the horse's mouth itself, you know. Yeah. So I will get to that point, but I tell you this. If you are in a situation to where you're scared, because I can't honestly say, oh, I was just Braveheart the whole way through. No, because sometimes I never knew what was going to happen that next moment. It, like I say, it definitely took me praying, God, if there is a God, I need you to step in, show up, show out. I need you to protect me. I remember one incident was so bad to where I was laying on the ground and I was just getting physically pondered upon, kicked on, stomped on, drugged by my hair, and for some reason, I could see this bright light, like there was something there protecting me, and I couldn't feel the pain that was being brought up on me. Yet, still, he was the same one who picked me up off the floor, took me to the emergency room, and left me there. That was part one of the enough. Yet, like I said, I was staying in the city by myself, so I had to go back home. Right. And in my mind, I was slowly, you know, packing the kids' clothes so that it wouldn't be visually seen. Right. But man, that's a lot to go through. It comes with a lot of nerve. It comes with a, you know, just a lot of fear. And that's just something I just didn't want to. That was not me. It wasn't my heart. You know, you always said, I can love you enough to share you with me, but I'm going to love me first to take me back from you too. Before you do that. Yeah. Because I actually experienced, you know, 3 situations where I was in a life or death situation, and it's just not a good feeling. It's not a good thing. And I thought I was in a, you know, like a, how would I say, like the Lifetime movie. Yeah.
Ooh, that's you know, ladies, and we're not Facebook land. We're not just talking about women, because you have some men that are being abused out there too. That's you true. Know, they're just the perfect gentleman. They've been taught not to hit a woman, but ladies, let me tell you, stop hitting on other people children if that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
you can't raise a grown person twice. Right. And you'll push that man and push that man and push that man, and that does not make him any less of a man because he hits you back. He's fed up. And when people get fed up, you get the results that you weren't really looking for. Oh, he ain't gonna do nothing. He ain't gonna do nothing. Oh, she not gonna do. She not gonna do nothing. It doesn't matter. Male and female, we're not to be hitting on one another. We've been raised once. You can't raise a grown person twice.
That's true.
You have to come to a table where you can agree to disagree. So with that being said, this domestic violence, this is deep.
It is very deep. You know, and like you said, violence is not the answer. Violence is not the key. You know, everybody's story is different. We can all bring different aspects. Those of us who are survivors of any type of violence. When I was taking a look at the list, when it was talking about school violence, I mean, I can go back as early as my kindergarten years, you know, experiencing school violence, the bullying, right? You know, your clothes better than mine, or your shoes better than mine, or mine's better than yours. Yeah, and still, you know, the kids, they pick at each other, right? And I think it starts within the home. We have to teach our children that it's not about the materialistic things that we wear on our body. We wear them clothes. Those clothes don't wear us. And so just because a person not wearing the newest Jordans or rocking the newest name brand shirt, there's somebody in those clothes. You will have a genius in those clothes. I wonder how many people can look back, you know, over the years and look at all the people that you bullied and you picked on, and yet those people are so successful.
And they made it. And, you know, your words can... How many times have you heard about a child going home, killing themselves, overdosing with pills because someone has actually told them you're ugly, you're this, you're that, and we can't do that. You know, we never know where these kids are. Yes, they want to wear the latest jeans. Yes, they want to wear the latest tennis shoes. Matter of fact, if you don't like what they wearing, then you go back, because you don't know what that parent's household may be like.
That's true.
Now, I ain't talking about the ones that get money and want to go spend it on your man. You got children. Your children come first.
That's true. That's true.
Your children come first. But these parents, you have parents that are actually working 2 jobs and they making ends meet. Do you think that they want to see their child in secondhand clothes? No.
Right.
But bills come first. And sometimes it's not. I'm the type of person, I can't do one without doing for the other.
Right.
So even though it might be 3 kids in the house, guess what? I'm just going to have to save my little pennies and just do for all of them.
Right.
And that's just a type of, everybody doesn't have it like that. And those that do, you just don't see that type of kindness anymore.
That's so true.
But those that can and will do, and if you go over there and hug the mom, the parents. You never know what they're going through. You never know what they're going through. I'm not saying if you can afford to pay a bill for them, do that. But if you can't, a hug is good enough, and prayer.
Yeah. It's
good enough. You'll be surprised how far it will take you.
Right. I would say that too. You know, overall, you know, I think, you know, the form of the domestic part that forms the violence, it's more like, you know, we have to check ourselves. There are a lot of things that can get us angry. A lot of times we lash out, and I don't know, I think it can come from your tantrums too as a child. You know, having those 2-year-old, 3-year-old tantrums and being chastised, but maybe being chastised aggressively enough to still make you even more aggressive, because a lot of times the chastisement that we got back in the day, it made us tough.
Right.
And it made us and groomed us as to who we are for principles and our morals and standards. Yet in the, you know, emotional part of it, that it boils your anger.
Right.
You know, the most important thing too is to know that it's okay to agree to disagree. You know, compromise, if anything, because one thing that you may not like about a person's personality is you know, and there's several things that they may not like about you and your personality, but you have to be able to meet each other. That's even with the neighbors. You know, you may not like your neighbor, but are you gonna go over and jump on them because you know they trash too close to the end of where you
gotta meet them where they at, right?
Where your line divides the yard. You know,
exactly.
In a relationship, mostly important is to Know when to walk away. You were once friends. If a relationship does not work out, know that you can go back to being friends. And hey, it's okay.
Right.
To not, connect. Or I read something that said forgive, but forgiveness does not mean reconnecting to that same personality, especially if you're seeing those red flags. With the physical abuse, just touching on different bases, I think parents, me being a young mother, I think it's very important to make sure when you're disciplining your children, do not be at the point where you just had enough.
Right.
I mean, there's different forms of discipline.
Right.
Times have changed, the kids are changing, and it is very, okay to be firm without being physical.
Right.
I know that some people say, hey, if I beat them like how we beat them or how we were beaten.
Like we would be, Jesus, I'd have been under the jail.
But, no, there's different forms of discipline in this day and time. And so, just bringing awareness to it all, we'll get more into it. If you feel as though you are in a abusive relationship, check out your resources. The most important thing that myself, being a survivor, the most important thing that I can share with you is that you're going to have to build a relationship with the Lord God, because He is the only one that's going to get you out that situation. I can tell you how many times I done called the police, okay? Or had them in my presence, and nothing was done. I even had him trick him a time or two and called him because he thought I was gonna call him, and they beat me to the situation, needing help, somebody, and it didn't turn out the way that I would have thought, especially having authority figures there. So, just because you call for help, that don't mean that you're going to get help. And times and these days are very, very different. There's a lot of hatred that is built up in the world. So you're going to have violence on all types of ends that we've just never even, explored. But be encouraged. And know that we're not to live in the spirit of fear. And once you get to know who the Lord God is, I promise you'll be in such a better place. You'll have such clarity. Protect your peace is very important, to know who you are and where you stand. No means no. No matter how you look at it. If you say no, you stand on no. It's all in your mind, your heart, your body gesture. That is very, very important. Anything else you want to add?
No.
On tonight?
Just be encouraged, ladies and gentlemen. Just be encouraged. And if you're in a violent relationship, pray and just get some help.
Yeah.
Get some help. Your kids don't need to see you beat up. They don't need to see you always crying. They don't even need to hear you arguing. Because if you've already fought in front of them, then they already know what's going to go ahead. And that makes them nervous.
Right.
Well, they can't get their schoolwork. They can't do anything. They just want their mommy to be safe. That's all they know. They want their daddy to be safe. They just want peace in the house. So we've got to come to an agreement, a mutual agreement, where it's not affecting the kids. And you all be encouraged, and just know that help is on the way.
Yes, it is. Also, this is a journal Mother gave me. I had the butterflies on there. I love the butterflies. It's very important to keep your journal. Write your journal, because there's something that you're going through that you can help somebody else with. We can all be an inspiration to each other in so many ways. I mean, hey, you may not want to be a person that be in the forefront or be on social media, yet you have something that you can bring to the table. Share it. Find a way to let your voice be heard. Your story is different from anybody else's story. We are peculiar, unique people. And so it's all a part of each one, teach one, and we're going to share that information with each other. So we have domestic violence group here in Tallahassee. One being at the Leon County courthouse. I had it here on my pad, but you guys Google it, domestic violence here in Tallahassee, to get your resources for those that need it. A lot of that information is more so anonymously taken in, so therefore you don't have to give out your name. But if you need some help, we are in 2020 going into 2021. Free yourself. Yourself. So we're gonna wrap up tonight. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks right here at Open Discussions as to where we'll be right back here at the table. So we have Darius and hey ladies. Hi brother.
Hey,
how
brother.
you?
How are you? Love you.
Thank you, Shanika Crittenden, for joining us on tonight.
Yes.
Just checking in on the comments. Well, you guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Me, you guys, back here in 2 weeks. We also wanted to bring the notification that we changed our time due to the time change. And so it's daylight saving time. And so we're going to start our show out every 2 weeks on Mondays, of course. And we're moving that time to 7 o'clock. So go ahead.
And if there's a subject that you would like us to research and to talk about, we might have been in that subject. Please feel free to let us know what you would like to talk about, and you join in while we're talking.
All right, grab your pens, grab your pads, and let's communicate. Bring it all in here at the table with open discussions. So we'll see you guys soon, and have a good night.
Good night. Have a blessed week.
See you guys later.
Go vote if you didn't. Remember, God is in control.
Vote. Let your voice be heard. Your vote counts. Good night.
Good night.